What's up? If you clicked in this video, it's because you care about the future of the American economy, because there's just so much noise around it. This Fed drama is way bigger than we think and way deeper than you might even comprehend. So the Department of Justice just called the Federal Reserve to come to court over the cost of renovating their building. On the surface, it sounds really freaking boring. It sounds like a lot of paperwork. And about those $2.5 billion, it is way deeper than that. And it all goes back to this beef with the Fed and Trump. And it's been going on for years because Trump wanted to lower rates. We all know that. But the Fed said no because inflation matters. It matters more than politics. And typically we see the Fed stay quiet and take all of these hitbacks from Trump. But this time Jerome Powell snapped back. And it was in a really calm way, I would say. So on Sunday, we see him going in national television and saying, like, this investigation isn't about any sort of construction, guys. It's a payback for not doing what the president wanted me to do. And that was the moment when we all said, okay, we are crossing a line. And let me tell you what happens next. Trump suddenly says he knows nothing about it. He knows nothing about this sort of Department of Justice, talking with the Fed type of thing. And by the way, Republicans in Congress who usually don't push back started complaining about this situation. And now senators threaten to block Fed nominations. Guess who also made a comment? The one and only Jamie Dimon. Guys, Jamie Dimon. Messing with the Fed's independence is a really, really bad idea. And guess what? When Jamie Dimon talks, the markets listen even more than when Jerome Powell talks. But being really serious right now, I think that we should be really paying attention to this. This is not a joke anymore. And I feel like I might be taking it too seriously, maybe. But I think this is real and it's a real issue. This is when we cross the line. Because Jamie Dimon doesn't really talk because of he just wants to talk about things and he just yaps like me who has a podcast. No, he literally talks when it's needed. Wall Street, Europe, Republicans, all of them are agreeing. And that technically never happens except for right now. And the Fed is supposed to be independent. That's the main idea of it. So presidents can't mess with its interest rates. This is because of political reasons, guys. Like, rates affect your mortgages, credit cards, jobs, inflations, literally everyone's lives. And if a president can force the Fed to cut rates, whether it's convenient, you won't get any sort of prosperity. Like, this will just weaken the dollar and investors will lose a lot of trust and it will make the United States look actually really, really unstable. And I am not the only one who thinks this. I am making this podcast so I can let you know, but a lot of these analysts, a lot of people in Wall Street already know this. And guess what happened? This is why I'm making this video. Markets haven't panicked yet. Gold moved a little, stocks barely reacted, then long-term government bonds rates stayed calm. If investors thought the Fed was actually losing independence, this would have blown up, but it didn't, because this attack did not work. Think of this, Trump's power over the Fed is more limited than you think. Even picking a new Fed chair doesn't give him the full control. That chair only gets one freaking vote. And Powell could stay on the Fed board, guess until when? 2028 if he wants. 2028. There's also a Supreme Court case coming up about whether Trump can fire a Fed governor after the whole mess with the lady Cooks. Like, this is not paperwork, but it's just like a lot of pressure on the Constitution itself. So let's zoom out for a bit. This wasn't about like any sort of renovation, $2.5 billion. It's about the fact that Trump is testing if the Fed could actually fold to what he wants to do. And we can see that the system is backing the Fed up and markets are noticing, and this risk isn't gone for sure. Like, I am pretty sure it's not gone because Trump changes his mind. Next day, he deletes the entire Constitution. Who knows? All I know is that if you really care about inflation, jobs, the market overall, and the dollar still being taken as serious as it is, this is one of those moments that you should really pay attention to what's actually happening in the economy. I didn't want to make this video any longer because there's just so much I could talk about. But the situation is that we are in a system right now that we see a lot of political pressure onto these people that should be free and be able to decide for the economy. But it's so hard. And my question is, what do these politicians know that we don't? And why do they want these rates to be so low? Are we expecting something worse in the future? If you really care what the hell is going on in the markets, please make sure you hit that subscribe. See you next time.